Ladies and gents, welcome back. It's been a rough week, and I figured you guys deserved a laugh this morning. Mr. Twiz takes to Twitter saying, Canada's censorship agency, the CBC, is in full battle mode, blaming the truckers for reports of increased mental illness in Ottawa. CBC tweeting out, the trucks have left Ottawa, but phantom honking lingers for many downtown. And of course, the article here. The trucks have left Ottawa, but phantom honking lingers for many downtown. Post-traumatic stress from weeks of honking is a temporary mild trauma, psychologists say, or one psychologist told this reporter. Kevin uses the word to describe the first days of the protest in downtown Ottawa. Torture. Literally, there was trucks right underneath me, said Kevin, who did not want to provide CBC a last name for fear of reprisal. Now, that's interesting because CBC was very eager to publish the names of people that had their data hacked in the security breach with Give, Send, Go, but I digress there. It was one thing for me, but I've got animals. I've got 3 cats, 2 dogs. So yeah, it was torture. That torture, quote unquote, is the reason behind the ongoing class action lawsuit, which sought an injunction prohibiting any participants in the Convoy protest from using their vehicle horns in the vicinity of the downtown Ottawa. I think they're confusing 2 things here in this article. So there is an ongoing class action lawsuit that is happening, which you can't make this up, folks. Convoy class action claims increased to $306 million as downtown restaurateurs join the lawsuit. If you scroll down in the article, anyone who has materially contributed financially to the continued occupation of downtown Ottawa knew what they were doing, particularly the people who contributed to Give, Send, Go, who by that time knew the unlawful behavior of the convoy participants, he said. That's an affirmative statement that needs to be actually argued in a court. They're reporting it as if it's gospel. For one, the reason why the police couldn't disband the protest is no one was actually breaking the law. So that was a part of it. The trucks have since been removed, with police pushing the majority of protesters outside the downtown core. Wow, that's a really soft statement. Pushing protesters outside of the downtown core over the Family Day long weekend. Even still, some downtown residents say they're haunted by phantom honking. What sounds like blaring truck horns, but no actual sounds are there. When you hear that noise, it's like, oh, are they back? Is the road convoy coming back? Is it coming back, right? Said Sean Flynn, who lives about 3 kilometers from the downtown, but could still hear the horns inside his home during the protests. I felt I was constantly doing these sort of double takes. It almost feels a bit re-traumatizing. Flynn isn't alone. Downtown resident Zakir Varani said he hears phantom honking too, usually at night, which keeps him awake. It's hard to explain because I think with any post-traumatic stress-induced thinking, it's not very rational. I would agree, it's not very rational. You're not actually hearing honking, he said, adding he experiences constant on-edginess and fear anytime he steps outside since the protests. It's not good for anyone to feel this way. a temporary symptom. So they found a doctor. Peter Liu is an Ottawa-based. I don't know why I read that as cynical psychologist. The clinical psychologist said it's possible people who hear phantom honking are experiencing a mild trauma. These sounds become a sort of embedded in mind, kind of like the way trauma leads to flashbacks, like war or something like, or maybe police brutality. I don't know. These are just examples that may lead to flashbacks. Even long after this has happened, the brain still is in a hypervigilant state and expects more honking. Lou said this is especially worrisome because it contributes to disrupted sleep, when people can't sleep, it leads to anxiety and exhaustion, with the possibility of developing into depression or memory problems. It is temporary, and will always fade with time. Lou said phantom honking. In the meantime, he recommended trying to sleep in a different location, even just in another room, listening to music or putting on white noise before bed. I would probably suggest not reading the CBC. just throwing that out there. Oh, good Lord. If the problem continues, he said, people shouldn't hesitate to reach out to a doctor or mental health professional. I think if you are in actual fear of the protesters that were in Ottawa, the trucking convoy, which on record has probably been the most peaceful protest we've seen in years. Yeah, I think you should reach out to a mental health professional. I definitely think that's a thing. Ottawa citizen going onto Twitter to voice his opinion says, I live in the center of Ottawa. Police blockades everywhere are 100 times more disruptive than the Freedom Convoy ever was. We had to argue with the police and show ID to simply go home after walking our dog with my wife. Now, things that can lead to post-traumatic stress are things like, getting hit. Getting hit, especially when you don't see it coming. And it reminded me of this clip that I saw circulating the internet this morning, which for some reason, I can't really put my finger on it. It's just so satisfying to watch. I just can't put my finger on it. I'll make sure I put a link in the description down below so you guys can see this clip for yourself. Maybe share it around. Let people experience either the post-traumatic stress or experience the just odd satisfaction with this clip. Anyway, keep on trucking.